In this video, we're going to focus on something called dollar cost averaging. Well, you might be wondering, what is dollar cost averaging? Dollar cost averaging is an investment strategy. More specifically, it's a passive investment strategy. Rather than investing into a stock or a mutual fund all at once, with dollar cost averaging, you would break up that investment into multiple parts where you would buy the stock or the mutual fund periodically over time. And what this does is this neutralizes the impact of short-term volatility. It also prevents you from timing the market, which will take a lot of time and research to do. And it's very difficult for anyone to accurately time when the market's at its bottom or when it's at its peak, because there's a lot of variables in the equation that we're not aware of. So dollar cost averaging, it's a passive investment strategy that takes the guesswork in terms of trying to time the market. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to work on this math problem that will help you to compare the return on investment between the dollar cost averaging strategy and versus timing the market. So feel free to pause the video if you want to work on this problem. Let's begin. Stock XYZ fell from its 52-week high of $50 to $20 in January. Now, the company has some strong fundamentals. Therefore, Kim, Rick, and Lisa, they're all planning to invest $12,000 into this stock. That is, individually, they're each investing that amount of money. Rick immediately invests $12,000 in January, believing that it was the best time to buy. Lisa, well, she also tried to time the market, but she waited. She invested $12,000 when the stock fell to $10 in March, believing that the stock had hit rock bottom. And the table really describes the prices of the stock each month and how much each individual put into the stock at that month. Now, Kim decides to use dollar cost averaging by investing $12,000 in the stock over a time period of 6 months. Calculate the ROI, or the return on investment, for each individual if the stock closes at $24 in the month of in the month of July. So let's start with Rick. So he invested $12,000 in stock XYZ, which is currently selling at a price of $20. So how many shares does Rick own in his company? So if we take $12,000 divided by $20, Rick owns 600 shares. Now we want to see what the value of those shares are by the month of July. Let's assume everyone sells their shares in the month of July. So he can now sell it at $24, which means he'll receive $14,400. So he put in $12,000 when the price was $20 and he got back $14,400. Now let's calculate his ROI. To calculate the ROI, we could use this formula. It's equal to the profit, or the amount that he gained in the transaction, divided by his COI, or cost of investment, times 100%. So in the case of Rick, he sold his shares at $14,400, but he put in $12,000. So the difference will be his profit. So he made $2,400 from that investment. So that's his profit. And the cost of investment was $12,000 for Rick. So his return on investment is 20%. So I'm going to put that here so we can reference it later. So not bad. I mean, The good thing is the stock closed higher than the price that he bought the stock at, which is always a good thing. Now let's calculate Lisa's ROI. So Lisa invested the same amount of $12,000, but when the price of the stock was $10. So if we take 12,000 and divide it by 10, Lisa bought 1,200 shares. Now the reason why she owns more shares is because she bought it at a lower price. Now she's going to sell it at $24 in the month of July. So she's going to receive 28,800 when she sells her shares. That's a plus sign. And now let's subtract it by her original investment, which is 12,000. And so 28 minus 12, that's going to be 16. So her net profit from this trade is 16,800. Even though she didn't buy the stock when it bottomed out at April, the fact that she bought it at a much lower price greatly increased her return. 16,800 is much bigger than the return that Rick got, which was 2,400. Now, for those of you who want to learn how to find stocks that are going up, I've posted a video on my Patreon page, and here is the link. It's a very brief video. It's very straight to the point, and it quickly shows you how to find stocks that are going up. So feel free to take a look at that when you get a chance, and let's get back to the video. Now let's calculate Lisa's ROI. So she received a profit of $16,800. And then her original cost of investment was $12,000 times 100%. My chair is making all types of noise. I need to get a new chair. So Lisa's return on investment is 140%, which is huge, all because she bought the stock at a low price. So now, let's move on to Kim. Now this is going to require a lot more math because she's using the dollar cost averaging strategy. So what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the number of shares that she acquired during each transaction. So in the month of January, Kim invested $2,000 and she bought the stock at $20. So if we divide 2,000 by 20, that means that she bought 100 shares in the month of January. In the month of February, if we take 2,000 and divide it by the price per share, which is $15, then she purchased 133.33 shares. It's really 0.3 repeating, but we'll round it to 0.33. In the month of March, if we take 2,000 divided by 10, she bought 200 shares. In the month of April, she bought 250 shares. So she bought some of the shares when it really bottomed out, which is good. And at May, 2,000 divided by 12, she bought 166.67 shares. And then in June, 2,000 divided by 16, she bought 125 shares. Now let's add up these numbers. So she bought a total of 975 shares. So now what we're going to do is calculate how much she's going to receive when she sells all these shares at $24 in the month of July. So she's going to receive $23,400. So let's subtract that by her initial investment, which is a total of $12,000. And so her gain off of these trades is 11,400. Now, of course, each situation will be different, but nevertheless, this strategy does work if the stock goes up in the long run. And when it does go down, it allows you to buy a lot more shares at a lower price. But when it goes up, you'll buy less shares at a higher price. But nevertheless, whenever you buy stock at a low price, and then if it goes up from there, overall, the dollar cost averaging strategy will increase your overall return if in the long run the price of the stock moves in an uptrend. But now let's move on with this problem. So let's take our profit, which was 11,400, and now let's divide it by her total cost of investment, which is 12,000. And then we're going to multiply this by 100%. So in this case, Kim's ROI is 95%, which is very good. So Rick had the lowest ROI because he tried to time the market and he was wrong. Lisa had the greatest ROI because she tried to time the market as well, but she was very close to buying the stock at the bottom. And as a result, she experienced a much higher return than any one of the individuals listed here. Now, Kim, she didn't try to time the market. She just used the dollar cost averaging strategy, and her return is between Rick and Lisa. So it wasn't as bad as Rick, but it wasn't as good as Lisa. So it was somewhere in the middle. But nevertheless, Kim didn't have to spend time doing research in terms of trying to figure out when to time the market, when is the bottom. And so she still made a decent return without investing too much time in trying to time the market. So with that extra time, Kim could use that time focusing on her business or working the job that she's at. She doesn't have to spend that time researching the market. So Rick, he lost big time. Not only did he got a low return, but he also lost the time that he spent in terms of trying to find out, is this a good price to buy it at? Lisa made a good return, but she also spent time researching the market. Kim didn't really have to spend that much time. She can just put her investment on autopilot and not worry about it, and still earn a decent return over the long run if the stock moves in an uptrend in her favor. So that's one of the advantages of the dollar cost averaging strategy. It's a passive strategy that doesn't require much effort to maintain, and it can still give you a decent return if the stock moves in an uptrend. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you found it to be helpful. Thanks for watching.